Hello everyone and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots Podcast. I'm your host, Charles Long, and with me as always is my co-host, Jake Loth. How you doing today, Jake?
All right. Really close here.
Yeah.
I just sort of scooted in. Why do you always put your hand on my fucking leg?
Because it's emotional support.
Okay.
I know you need an emotional support. So, can you tell us what we're going to be talking about today, Jake?
Well, I forgot because you took off my little thing off the screen.
Oh, well, sorry, my bad. I was going to pull it up when you brought it up.
Oh, okay. I don't think that was true, but all right. So basically, I'm pitching Persian Game of Thrones.
Dun dun dun!
Now.
So many racist comments in
What do you
YouTube
mean?
videos.
Oh, well, all the comments we get, Charlie? Yeah, all the comments we get.
Hey, somebody's listening.
How is it racist?
We're not being racist, but people will be racist because you're making a Game of Thrones show, styly, but with Persian people.
Oh, well, mine's historically accurate and real.
It doesn't mean anything to anyone ever.
But mine's real, and Game of Thrones is fake.
And?
Okay, well,
a pitch.
So it's going to start off with Cyrus the Great, who, if you don't know, was the king of the Persian Empire, Emperor of the Universe. I think was also his title, King of Kings.
He's in orange juice.
Into orange juice?
He's in orange juice. He's Cyrus.
That was a really bad joke.
He
Cyrus acid, citric acid?
Like citric acid.
Yeah, I know.
Cyrus.
See, I got what you meant, but it didn't really land. It wasn't very good.
Yeah, I know.
Close enough.
I couldn't think of the correct wording, but that was the first thing that popped into my head.
I'm usually the punny one, so I don't really understand why you're making all the puns.
That's not
in
a
this
pun.
podcast.
That's just insanity.
Yeah,
That's
first Coruscant, Cyrus acid, and you had one the other week as well. I don't remember what it was, but
probably something about boners.
I don't think it was.
I don't have any puns that could go with a boner.
You don't have any puns that could go with a boner?
No.
Okay.
There's two things. Usually, if there's a pun, the boners go away. You know.
Okay.
Just saying.
That's what ends it for you?
Mm-hmm.
This is getting weird off the start.
It's always been weird, though.
Yeah, but usually it's your fault. And I feel like I'm contributing this time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop being such a tease.
Oh my god.
Keep talking, come on.
It's at the beginning of the Persian Empire.
Mm-hmm.
Cyrus the Great's just starting out, trying to be king.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's sort of like our Eddard Stark. He's sort of like the main character. We're focusing on him, but we in Game of Thrones.
Say Ned. Say Ned Stark like everybody else. I had no idea who you were talking about for a second.
Stark. Yeah, he's Ned Stark. Okay.
Ned Stark.
Eddard Stark.
Bean.
Sean Bean. Okay, so he's our Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Played by Sean Bean too.
Really?
No, he's not Persian.
We're gonna spray tan him really thick.
It'll be like that time Jake Gyllenhaal played Prince of Persia, whatever that guy's actual name is.
I hope his name is Prince of Persia. First
name
name
movie
Prince.
Prince of Persia.
Yeah,
what was the guy's name?
Prince of.
I don't remember the name, but Jake Gyllenhaal played him.
Persian
Jake Gyllenhaal,
man.
White guy.
He's like. Is he white?
He's really white.
Is he? I thought he
not
was
just white, but he's like pale white too.
Oh, I didn't know.
It did not make any sense that he was.
I thought he was vaguely something.
No.
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 Okay.
Maybe, I don't know. I don't think he is though. He's pretty white.
Okay.
So Cyrus the Great.
What I just said.
Main character. He's our Ned Stark, and we also focus on different people as well, like his family, because he's got a wife, and her name is Cassandra Dane. I don't know how to say that. They'll know how to say it in the thing.
Cassandra Dane.
That's the wife. Atossa, which is daughter. Cambyses, and Bardia, which are sons. And it's gonna focus on the political atmosphere of with them, and sort of like the war atmosphere with him. You got a question, Charlie?
I do have a question. Who is having sex with who in this whole family tree? Because if it's like Game of Thrones, they're...
Oh, see...
I'm waiting for the
incest. You think Game of Thrones is bad? This is... Persian Empire is... Oh my god.
Yes!
The incest is real bad.
Oh man, I'm so excited to hear
bad incest.
Like,
so,
how do you say this? How do you say that name?
Cambyses.
Cambyses stands?
Probably. Well, we'll see about that, because he fucking dies. So, in the pilot, it's going to be slow, because Cyrus the Great, originally, he didn't start off with the Persian Empire, he conquered it. Why'd you just laugh a bunch there?
Well, I was trying to think of a comeback to your, he's dead though. And I'd be like, yeah, there are a lot of stands for dead people.
Okay.
Iron Man, Jesus Christ. I mean, what's the church besides just one big stand factory for Jesus Christ?
Anyway, so it's a slow beginning with Cyrus, and it's going to start with him fighting the Median Empire, which is the first people he fights. We're going to have a cool battle scene, because that's how we're going to get people to pay attention. Like, I want, like, a cool, like, Battle of the Bastards style. Crazy battle.
Yeah.
And, like, in history, which is what this is going to be based off of, the battle happened because Cyrus the Great, instead of going home for winter, chased the Median army, which got rid of all their mercenaries because they were going to go home. Chased the army, fought them in a battle, and then took their city. That's what it's going to be about, like him making that decision to attack as opposed to go home.
Yeah.
So that's what he's doing.
Now, I'm not all that familiar with this time period of history. What kind of weaponry are we working with here? Is it like spears and swords?
It's like spears and swords.
And
Not a lot of swords, mostly spears.
Do they have cannons?
There's no cannons.
They have catapults.
There's no catapults. Well, there's like, some really shitty versions of that kind of stuff.
I want to know if they can catapult a horse. That's all I want to see a man get squished by a catapulted horse. Is that possible? Is that something we could do in the show?
Maybe later in the show.
Yeah.
But Cyrus the Great was mainly about his archers. He had a lot of archers. That was his big thing. Okay. The Persians were big on archers shooting bows,
I've seen 300. I know.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
But this is before that. We're gonna get to 300 though. You'll be excited when we get to there. So season 1 is Cyrus conquering his empire. It's gonna end with him being king of kings, in charge of everything. Season 2 is the beginning of it. It's gonna focus on the death of Cyrus, which is pretty sweet. If you ever heard the story of the death of Cyrus the Great, it's probably false. This is probably not how he died, but it's a story about how he goes to conquer the people of this queen. Her name's Tamiris, I think that's how you say it. And he goes to kill her people, and when he gets there, she's like, no, you're not gonna kill us. And in fact, like, if you want, I think she said something along the lines of, if it's like blood, like this thirst for blood that you have, if you really must quench it, like that's what we'll do. But if not, you should go because I'm gonna murder you and stuff. Basically, she threatened him, and with this cool line that I can't remember and I just butchered.
I hope that was the line. That would be great. She's like, hey, you're gonna get out of here. We're gonna do,
we're gonna mess you up.
Don't do bloodshed, but if you do, I'm gonna kick your ass.
So Cyrus, he goes over, fights a battle. They capture her son, who's like the leader of her armies, and she threatens him. It's like, all right, if you don't give me my son back, I'm gonna kill all your people. Everyone's gonna die. And before he can decide if he's gonna kill her son kills himself, and then his mom comes in, kills all his whole army and Cyrus the Great. So that's gonna be like the season 2 first half is about that. And our little back home story is follows Cambyses, Bardia, and Atossa, who are the 2 sons and daughter of Cyrus. And Charlie's making a little sex sign with his hands.
I'm just curious.
So yeah.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was curious as to whether or not.
So the first son, Cambyses, is going to take the throne. Bardia is the second son. Cambyses is going to kill his brother Bardia because he doesn't want Bardia to challenge him for the throne, and he's going to marry his sister Atossa.
Don't marry your sister.
So
if you're gonna fuck your sister, don't marry your sister. There's levels.
Okay.
There's a difference between fucking your sister and marrying your sister. I'll say it. Neither is good. I'm just saying there's a difference. Besides the literal difference, a difference in how I see you, a difference of you. If I met somebody who I knew had fucked their sister, I would probably treat them differently than to someone who I knew was currently married to their sister.
Would you treat them better or worse? I'm confused.
But I would treat them, if they had at one point had sex with their sister, I probably would treat them better than the married to a sister guy. That guy seems like a real prick.
Okay, well, it's just gonna get worse here.
And he owes me $20.
So, Cambyses, he's in charge now, killed his brother, married his sister.
Yeah.
He fights the Egyptians because the Egyptians are being bad boys and they're not, staying under the empire like they should be.
Yeah.
And so He goes out, fights their battle, and then while he's away from home, we got some court intrigue, because that's fun.
He should leave.
And they take this guy who claims to be Bardia takes the throne. Maybe it's actually going to be Bardia, maybe it's not. I don't know, because in history they're not sure. So I don't know if in the show I'm going to do it or not.
But
so it's actually Bardia.
How'd he come back if people know him? Like people know Bardia.
Oh, because when Cambyses killed Bardia, I probably should explain this. He didn't tell anyone. He just kept it a secret, so no one knows that Bardia is actually dead. So when this person comes and says they're Bardia, everyone's like, yeah, that's probably Bardia. And this is ancient times, so no one has any idea what Bardia actually looks like. So this could just be some generic dude. They're like, yeah, he's probably Bardia,
Yeah, whatever.
He's probably him.
Let him through. Give him a sandwich and a throne and a crown.
Yeah.
Just trying to think of things that kings have. First thing that came to mind, sandwich. Second thing, crown. Or no, second thing, throne.
Throne. Game.
Game of.
Thrones. There we go.
Game of. Scrabble.
Persia. With Jake Gyllenhaal.
With Jake Gloss.
As the Persian prince.
Game of Scrabble with Jake Gloss. Come on down.
Anyway, when this happens, one of his top generals, whose name is Darius, now it's not said that he kills Cambyses,
but
the thing is Cambyses all of a sudden dies, and now Darius goes back and he takes the throne from the fake Bardia and marries Atossa. By the way, the fake Bardia married Atossa as well.
Oh.
So she might have had sex with both her brothers, not sure.
Well, but maybe she had sex with one of her brothers and somebody pretending to be her dead brother.
Yes.
That's much worse when I say it out loud.
Yeah, so Darius goes back, takes the throne, all that stuff, changes the history. So he probably killed Cambyses in Egypt because he was his general and was like, this is an opportunity, I'm going to take it and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But he said he didn't, so we're going to say that he did, because why would... Wow, what?
How we should do, what's his name? Not Darius. Cambyses' death.
Yeah.
It's they're both in a flaming tent and in a battlefield, a war-torn battlefield, and they're staring out at the thing. And Cambyses has been picking on Darius this whole fucking trip. He's just been his little bitch boy.
Yeah, because he's a mean guy, so that makes sense.
And then, they're in this tent together, alone, flaming. It's on fire. They're watching carnage happen around them. And Cambyses says to Darius something, go get me a, dick towel or something. I don't know. Go get me something that, is embarrassing.
Yeah.
It belittles him in some way.
I got the idea.
And then
Charlie, you're going to say he kills him.
And then he just fucking picks up a rock and smashes his head in. For some reason, Darius in my head is like a weaselly little penguin in the first season of Gotham.
Well, you could not be more wrong, but yeah.
I know that it's probably wrong in history. I'm just talking about the story of the show.
But actually that might fit. Okay, so you want him to be a really like a
Littlefinger style, weaselly, weak-willed, but he's a master manipulator.
We can retcon history.
Yeah, who gives a shit? And then he just smashes his head in with a rock.
And then marries his wife/sister. And takes the throne.
Ciao.
He's a good king, he lasts a long time.
Oh, good for him.
They like him. He was really good with the economy. They were really happy about that. A great economy under Darius the Great. That's why he had the Great at the end of his name.
Because of the great
But then
economy.
He fucked up.
Oh, how'd he fuck up?
Well, because he fucked the wife of Cambyses and had a kid. And that kid's name is Xerxes. And if you remember 300, Xerxes is that shit Persian king. I don't know if he actually has nose rings.
I mean, maybe. Well, now he doesn't because he's dead.
Well, yeah.
But in history, probably.
You could put him in the skeleton.
But the skeleton doesn't have a nose. Skeleton just has the that bit.
That's a good point. There's no bone here. So
yeah.
Maybe they just sort of.
You could just
clip it into the bone. It's like a face ring.
Kind of tape it loosely onto his face.
Pull the tape they had back then. So Darius dies. Xerxes takes the throne. And Xerxes, very manipulated by his mother Atossa. That's kind of what I want to make this Game of Thronesy, because I see Atossa like Cersei, because she's under, she's not really in control for most of it, and then she gets control when her son is king. And she has an immense amount of control because she's learned so much. Because she's learned from her father, she's learned from both of her brothers/husbands. Like she knows a lot.
Is she fucking her son?
No. No.
I'm just curious. In history.
No.
How do you
No.
know? Hi. Well, that was implied in Game of Thrones that Cersei wanted to jump all over Joffrey's jock, but you know he died before she could. And then Tommen's this little, Tommen's a simp. No one wants to have sex with Tommen.
Marjorie did.
Ugh. Gross. I know, but she did it for money. That's different. Like no one genuinely wants to have sex with Tommen. Look at his dumb hair. At least
he's dating his sister in that show.
Ew,
so the girl that plays
yeah, I know, good for them, but still
weird. Especially when they played siblings in a show.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever?
But she's pretty, so I can understand why he would do that.
Yeah, I'm sure they made friends. Like I've been in productions where like people who are playing siblings are dating in real life, or people who are like, he's my cousin, she's my cousin, our characters kiss.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's never not weird.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, don't want that.
Yeah, so she's not fucking
Especially
her kid.
if they're really related, like in real life.
Yeah.
And then their characters have to kiss.
Yeah. It's gross. But they usually wouldn't do that. At least not in a high school production.
It's weird.
So they're not fucking.
Got the throne. Not
Xerxes
fucking his mom.
isn't fucking his mom.
Nope.
Who's she fucking?
I don't know. Maybe someone. I don't know. She's like a person that she would no longer. She doesn't get married anymore. She's just in charge. She maybe has some lovers, but like she's in charge.
Yeah, she's head
honcho.
Woman's got needs.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
So
this toast of ladies getting her kicks, getting her jollies.
Okay, well I don't know. That's not really what the series is about. It's not. It's called.
Why not?
Okay. That's okay. We're changing it now. It's gonna be all about her sex
Xerxes
life.
takes the throne and Atosa's mom.
Yeah, and then so they get all pissed at the Greeks and stuff. We basically do 300 the next season. It's all about 300, sort of the Greeks versus the Persians, but from the Persian point of view. So it's instead of showing like the heroics of the Greeks, it's the idiocy of the Persians.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna skip ahead.
Maybe his mom is off doing something else, and that's why Xerxes fucks it up so bad because he doesn't have his mom to. Tuck him into bed and tell him everything's gonna be okay. She's off doing something. She's off
she dies,
on an
and that's
adventure.
when they fuck up. Yeah, even though that's not how it works.
Maybe she's been kidnapped by pirates.
Ooh, pirates.
Pirates like fucking Caesar.
It's Johnny Depp.
Dun, 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 dun.
They have cannons for some reason.
They have assault rifles.
Yeah, they have assault rifles.
Yeah.
So last season, season 6. These are all seasons, by the way. I don't know if I was stating that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's gonna be 6 seasons to get all this done. Season 6, we're gonna skip ahead to Alexander the Great destroying the Persian Empire, and that's gonna be it.
Now, how many years would that be ahead?
What?
How far
a lot.
ahead? Okay.
A lot of years.
Sorry, I didn't.
You just pressed the button.
Sorry.
It was loud.
Sorry. No, I don't think it would be a good idea if we're going to Alexander the Great, which is very far away from this point in history. We would have to have characters we still identify with. If it's season 6 of a TV show that's otherwise been serialized up to this point, you don't want to have another season at the end.
Well, that's a good point.
That, here are an entirely new cast of characters you've never met before, and here's a guy from history class.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense.
Maybe
I just want to skip ahead because it's a good conclusion to the Persian Empire. Because he fucks it. But maybe the Greeks beating them is the conclusion.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of the start of the end for them? They get fucked over by Greece, and then they'd shit. And then we could have a thing at the end. And then the Persians fucked themselves over.
Yeah.
We could have that thing they do at the end of Animal House. Have you seen Animal House?
No.
At the end of Animal House, they do a freeze frame on each of the main characters and have a short, 2 or 3 sentence long just description of what happened to them after the movie.
Yeah.
And it's funny stuff.
No.
John Belushi, the famous one who died.
Yeah.
His character is he went on to become a congressman or whatever.
Okay. I didn't see Animal House or ever read the book, so I have no idea what
Animal House is not a book. Animal?
I'm thinking Animal Farm.
Yeah,
by
you're
George
thinking
Orwell.
of Animal Farm.
Yeah, which I was like, I don't remember a guy. This doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, you're an idiot. That's fine. It's okay. It's okay. He's the looks, everyone. He's the looks of this podcast.
This is audio.
It's the looks of this operation.
What are you? Are you the voice then?
I'm the brains.
Then why don't you do anything besides talk?
Because
You're definitely the voice. I'm the brains.
I guess I'm the face. I'm the, you know.
You don't see your face.
Yeah, I know, but you hear my voice, which is my audio.
It's your voice. You're the voice of the podcast.
I guess so.
Yes.
I'm the voice of the podcast.
We don't have an audio face. We have the voice.
I am the voice of the podcast. Everybody feel up the skies and tell yourselves what you want to know. All right.
So would you watch Persian Game of Thrones?
I would watch Persian Game of Thrones. Persian Game of Thrones seems like a good thing to sit down and just watch a whole lot of at once.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like, you know what I want? I want to be interested and intrigued by Persians. Alright, thank you everyone for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I have been your host, as always, Charles Lung, and this has been my co-host, as always, Jake Gloth. Did you have a good podcasting day, Jake?
It was all right. You know, I felt like it sometimes. You're really mean to me.
Well, that's...
You guys couldn't see it because, you can't see, but he hit me a few times.
Yeah, I put cigarettes out on him every once in a while just to remind him
I
who's
can't
in
see
charge.
out of my left eye.
That's fine. He doesn't need depth perception. He just edits the podcast. That's all he does. He lives in my closet and edits the podcast. Alright, do you have anything you'd like to plug, Jacob Gloth?
At VRP Podcast on Twitter.
Oh, we got a Twitter.
We've had a Twitter.
Oh, well, we've had a Twitter. Isn't that exciting?
I mentioned this every podcast, Charlie.
We did have
Except
a Twitter in the
one.
first podcast.
We didn't. That's true.
I haven't been listening for any other ones, just letting you know.
Well, that's cool. You just listen to your ideas. Got it.
I don't listen to my ideas. I do things.
I cut it already. I'm just letting you know
Thank
it's
you,
over.
everyone. Have a good time. Love you. Goodbye.